welcome to your first Life on Tap. So throughout this series, I get to interview alumni, ask them about their jobs, what they do. You get to learn about different career industries, but also hopefully you'll just learn some general career advice from them. Even if you're not interested in software development, hopefully you'll still take a nugget away from this evening. So, okay, without further ado, I will introduce our guests and then we can get started. So we have Ben Dunphy here, who graduated in 2019. He actually majored in history. He started programming at age 12, making websites and building robots competitively. After graduating from Christendom, he joined Soul Solutions Incorporated, SSI, which is here in town, as a Tier 2 support technician, which he will explain what that is. From there, he moved up to become a full-stack web developer, which he will also explain, and is now the lead engineer for their cognitive operations team, working to harness the latest advances in artificial intelligence. He also occasionally writes on Substack as @TheCatholicDev. He lives in the Valley with his wife and son, who has to go to bed, so they're not here tonight. And then we have Noah Arevalo, who graduated in 2022. He majored in mathematics. He is a self-taught programmer, similar to Ben, as he took no programming classes here at Christendom, and he only learned Python for the sake of his thesis, which he will tell us about. After working many odd jobs during his time at Christendom, he graduated and joined a startup founded by a fellow alumnus. After his time there, he took an internship at Tesla, and he currently works as a senior consultant at Booz Allen Hamilton, which is a Fortune 500 company, and as a full stack developer at Longbeard, a Catholic artificial intelligence startup. So, welcome, gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here. Let's start by kind of describing what software development is and other jobs in the tech industry that our students might not know about or they might be interested in. So, Ben, why don't you start?
Yeah, so software development is the process of making the programs that run on a computer. So you have the hardware, the physical, actual computer, but then all of the programs and everything you use on the computer, that's all instructions that someone has to write out, and that's what we do.
Okay, so you write the instructions for running the programs on there. Okay, tell us a little bit, add to that.
Sure. A lot of people think that, I guess, application or software engineering has to be this big thing, but fundamentally it starts with writing an application that runs and executes and does something. So if you are bored on a Saturday night and you create an application in Python that prints fizz when a number is odd and buzz when a number is even, that is an application, and you're technically a software developer. So that guy who raised his hand like that, do that next Saturday. So.
Okay, so what are some other job titles besides software developer? Because that's what your all's main role is right now, but you started out as a support technician. So tell us more about that and what other job titles you feel like students could enter into.
Right, yeah, so I started on the support desk. So we had our company product that people used, and when they encountered problems with it, they would send us an email saying, hey, I have a problem with this. And so I would take that email and figure out what the problem was. Usually it was a error and something not working right on the backside. So mistake a programmer made.
Okay.
That I would fix. Yeah.
So you'd have to fix the problem, the error, or you would just pass that along.
So tier 1 support is the one who receives the emails, and then I was tier 2, which actually then went in to fix the problem.
Okay, because you had the coding background already.
Yeah.
You had a little bit of programming. Okay, excellent. And tell us a few other job titles that students could look at, I guess.
Sure.
Without much experience yet.
Sure, yeah. So if you're interested in getting into the tech industry and you don't necessarily have coding experience, you want to take a look at really generic job titles like software engineer 1 or software developer 1, right? Personally, I started out as an intern that then branched out into a sort of software development capacity. So when I was originally hired at VSO, there was a push to, at the time, I was an intern and it was also a business analyst position. But at the time, there was a push to develop an application to track the status on a project and how, at what level of completion did we have at particular job sites, and we had metrics to track that. It was just finding a bunch of kids who had nothing better to do to figure out how to make an application. So that's how I ended up transferring over into a more coding first position, was basically just through an internship that was kind of related to coding. So,
Okay. And we talked about at SSI, they will often hire recent grads into a business analyst position. So tell us what that looks like versus what you were doing as the support.
Yeah, so yeah, the business analysts, they, instead of talking to our clients about problems they were having, they would talk to them about ways that we could make our product better for them, improvements we could make. So that's what business analyst facilitates, that conversation. That's also something that hire grads do.
So do business analysts ever move into the support roles or the programming roles?
They do, yeah. Yeah, it's just figuring out, finding the opportunities, showing the interest. Yeah, we've had a couple of business analysts start coding and joining the engineering team after just like expressing interest and saying, hey, can I try and do this? Can I help with this?
Okay. Yes.
you'll find that you'll have the flexibility to do that if you have the drive to just solve whatever problem they throw at you. So if they need something and if your team needs something and they've just kind of been talking about it for a couple months and you just decide to take the initiative and make it, then they're going to be like, okay, yeah, get that guy, right? And then put him on the team because he actually listens and knows what we want, right?
Okay. So tell us a little bit about how you even got into this. So you obviously started at age 12. What kind of sparked that interest? And then, to be completely honest, when you came to Christendom, there was a math major. So why did you not pursue that? Tell me about that.
Tell me, Ben.
Yeah, so like I said, I did competitive robotics as a teen, and just seeing like the code I had written like moving around on the table, that was kind of like super cool.
Yeah.
And I've been like chasing that. That's been my motivation, just seeing what I make working and being great. Yeah. So what was the second half of the question?
Math major. Like,
Math
is
major.
that important? Is that necessary? Obviously, it wasn't for you.
Yeah. So the math major was actually like only just getting started when I was there.
Okay.
So, and I honestly never really took to math that much.
Okay.
The reason I came to Christendom, honestly, was for the soft skills, because, I mean, yeah, they form the whole person here. So, yeah, like communication and like big picture thinking, like appreciation of beauty, all of those that I got here, and those all applied to my work as a software developer.
So we'll come to you to ask all these questions too, but at SSI, I know for sure, Greg Bodo, who's one of the board members at Christendom, he founded the company and he loves to hire philosophy majors. And so, I mean, he obviously hires other majors too, but I guess, can you expand on that? Like, do you know what it is about philosophy majors that interests him, or that why Christendom majors would do well at software development?
Yeah, so he I think targets philosophy majors because, yeah, the big picture thinking, the logic, and like the ability to think through problems. That is very helpful, like on the support desk and as a business analyst and as a software developer. It's helpful like in all aspects of the tech world. Yeah, I've majored in history because I liked it.
Sure.
Yeah, I liked the classes a lot more than philosophy.
Okay. Another endorsement for study what you want to study, what you're interested in, especially. Okay. There was something else I was going to say, and now I can't remember what it was, but that's all right. Okay. So Noah, tell us about your kind of journey to this. This was something newer to you, not at age 12.
So I like numbers a lot. So I ended up becoming a math major here, and my thesis was about prime numbers and how to figure out if a particular number is prime. So if Joey throws me 531, is it prime? He's probably right, not gonna lie. But
People know.
I went through the theory, the number theory it's called, of what are called primality tests and how to test if a number is prime. I got really bored with that thesis because we didn't do too much in that regard in class, so I wanted to do something a bit more hands-on. So I learned Python to actually construct the algorithms that were theoretically possible based on our course material, and I ran them and noted their results. So that's what got me into Python originally.
And how did you learn Python? When you say, like, I learned it.
Painfully.
Painfully.
Yes. I went through, to be honest, I chose Python because it's kind of like a meme in the like data science community. It's like, do you need to do anything? Use Python, right? R is also a language that's used, the R programming language, but I ended up going with Python because it seemed to have more broad applications for other things like web development, and that's actually true. So it was useful that I did that. Yeah, so that's why I did that.
Okay.
Was there another part to that
well,
question?
I guess what made you keep going with it? You know, you like, if
Sheer
you're saying like, I love
determination,
numbers. Sheer-
Kristin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. What made
Noah
me,
has a lot of
yes.
determination.
So what made me keep going was even you can learn one language, but there's always quirks to other programming languages that you don't really appreciate until you start working with them. I ended up having to learn JavaScript for let's see, for my first like big gig outside of college, I had to learn JavaScript. But the things that I learned and the principles of that are inherent in Python, I could fairly easily translate them over to JavaScript. They're both what's called high-level languages that don't require the user to do memory management or to figure out, you know, basically how a computer works, right? It's just sort of, it's very easy to, you know, add numbers, subtract things, and use them algorithmically, so.
Okay. And so tell us a little bit about your day-to-day life, like at work. What does it actually look like? So another part of Life on Tap is to help you guys learn and understand and realize what it actually means to be in this role. What does it look like day to day? And so I've told them to share stories, the good, the bad, the boring, because sometimes a job is quite boring at different points. So Ben, tell us about your day. Like, is there a typical day and what would it look like?
Yeah, so typical day is I log in and like refresh my memory of what I did the day before.
point.
Then we have a all team stand-up meeting where we all go over what we accomplished yesterday and what we're working on today, and then rearrange priorities if needed, because those actually change somewhat often. Yeah, and then after that, we go heads down onto our tasks, coding. Yeah, and then throughout the day, we'll like message each other and say like, hey, I'm stuck on this problem. Do you have any ideas? I haven't touched this section of the program in years. You've touched it more recently. Can you tell me how it works?
Okay.
And yeah, and then every once in a while, there's like bigger meetings where we're like, okay, for the next few weeks, what do we want to work on? What do we need to get done? And divvy up the tasks in there.
Okay. So you said you're communicating with each other like throughout the day. How do you guys communicate? Is it over email? Are you remote?
Yeah, I'm remote. Yeah.
Okay.
We
So then
use
how are you guys communicating?
Slack direct messaging.
Okay. Excellent. Sophomores, I talked about Slack in EFL last week. Told you guys people use it.
Very important, yes.
Yes. Okay, so you guys are sending messages via Slack back and forth. Are you in email ever? And are you ever on the phone? I know that sounds like a very stupid question, but it's kind of like really and truly, what does it look like behind your desk all day?
Yeah, so I'm email. So that's more for like the notifications of like, because trainings and stuff I need to do, because we work in government primarily, so there's a lot of like,
Okay.
we need to make sure that you guys know your security stuff and like are trained up. So there's that, and then we also get notifications of like, hey, there's this huge problem that's happening, and we need people on it. So yeah, so that's usually from the more higher ups.
Okay, so
Is
email
email.
is more urgent, serious, complicated things, whereas Slack is the general all day long conversation kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else that we're missing, like from a typical day?
From a typical day, no. So yeah, the big stand-up meeting is on a video call.
Okay.
As well, so
Do you have to stand?
no, no, you don't. Although I do have a standing desk, so
Very nice.
That's so
Yes.
bougie, man. I don't have that.
You should get one. Yes.
I don't know, man.
Okay, so thank you for sharing that. And I guess, is it tough to work remotely?
yeah. So I mean, it has its perks. So I mean, I'm at home. I can be with my wife and son if they need me pretty quickly. But yeah, I do, because I've only been remote for since like 2021.
Sure.
I started out in person, and I did kind of like miss like being able to like walk over and say like, "How you doing? How you doing?" Like have a like water cooler chat, or even just walk over and it's like, "Hey, I'm having this problem. Can you show me like directly how to do it or what you'd some ideas?" So I mean, but yeah,
But there's lots of
lots of
perks.
perks being remote.
Okay, yeah, thanks. All right, do you work remotely, Noah?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
So for Booz Allen, I'm technically full remote, but I will go into the office on Wednesdays or every other Wednesday, just because my team will convene there occasionally. They're pretty non-committal about showing up too. So, but it's good to actually see people and be like, hey, how's that thing going, right? Because with government, as you mentioned, like if you don't have that face to face, right, you're always like herding cats and trying to get people to communicate in the same exact way. My comms is what people usually use to describe all their means of communication. It could be phone, email, whatever, right? My comms are really fragmented. So I have, with Longbeard, I have my own laptop and I have my own way of talking to them through basically the Google suite of products, Google Chat, Google Meet, Google whatever, right? And then for Booz Allen, that is a mess. I have two computers. I have it's called a GFE, which is a government furnished equipment, which is a dinosaur of a laptop that I have on in the corner of my room at night, and it scares me because it sounds like it's going to blow up. And then I have a lovely modern MacBook Air. But on the GFE, I use Teams, email, and then on my MacBook, I use Slack, Teams, and there's multiple teams that I use Teams for. One of them being the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and then the other is internal chats between us developers over at Booz. So it's a lot to manage, and I'm actually heading the communication for one of my projects that I work with them, and I need to make sure all of the emails about everything gets forwarded to everybody. So
Okay.
it's kind of like a PM or project management adjacent role. So
Sure. So what does your regular day look like? Obviously,
Sure.
you're communicating a lot with people, but give us the typical
yes,
day.
so at 6 a.m. I wipe the crust from my eyes, and then I go make myself a cup of coffee, and then the first thing I do is boot up my GFE just because it takes like 5 minutes to turn on. And again, it sounds like it's going to explode every time I do. But that is like the most important set of comms for me because that's from the client, like directly, like they're working with us, right? And then from there, I'm kind of jealous. You have like daily stand-ups. We don't do that. It's just, we have one meeting per week at Booz per project. And then everything else, we do all the task assigning at that meeting, and then the rest of the week is just sort of heads down working. At Longbeard, I don't even have a stand-up. It's just, I'm working, and then I show people what I do, because it's a contract position, and then thumbs up, thumbs down, change this, yada, yada, yada. Everything's just kind of pedal to the metal for both jobs at the end of the day. But I usually start around 7 in the morning to do my contract work for Longbeard. and then during the day I will do my Booz Allen work. So
And that looks like just in a
pretty.
screen.
I mean, to be honest, like
Screen and
if
keyboard.
you're doing it, if you're not like distracted and you're not like doom scrolling on the side,
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's just sort of looking at a screen, figuring out what's going on with this stupid application. Why am I getting a 501 error? Like, yeah, it's like, why am I getting this thing? And you're just doing a bunch of debugging and troubleshooting all day. So that's, if you like to tinker, this is a great job for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's sadistic Legos, I guess you could call it that. So.
Nice. So, I remembered I was going to say earlier when you were talking about SSI and philosophy majors. So we often, Mr. McFadden and I will say, like, employers are looking for people who can have the skill of problem solving. And we're not just making that up. Like, genuinely, it sounds like your jobs are all day long, you're solving problems. And so it
Absolutely.
really is a skill to learn and a valuable skill to have.
And by problem solving, it's not just, this is another misconception that people have about the industry, is that when you're hired and you're presented with something and like the first thing you're presented with, you don't know how to do, you like freeze up and you're like, oh man, I'm a fraud. I don't know what I'm doing, right? That's part of the job. And like part of problem solving is being able to get something that you probably never seen before, break it down into steps that you know how to do, and ask people for help. Asking for help is hard because you don't want to look like a moron, but it's better to be a moron who isn't eventually a moron than a moron who just doesn't develop, right? So, yeah.
Problem solving.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So tell us about a time you've struggled in your job, or what are the hard parts about it?
Well, the hardest project I did was I volunteered for this project because like we got something new that we haven't done before. It was taking two Word documents, which had started out the same, but two different teams had edited them, and trying to pull them all back together and merge them in together. And I volunteered for that, and it was a lot harder than anyone involved thought it would be. Yeah, like he kind of described, I was just like banging my head against the wall. Okay, test this, didn't work. Try this, didn't work. Try this, didn't work. Go into a meeting with several other people and say, okay, I'm trying this and this and this. Well, what if you try this and this and this? Okay, I will go and do that. Doesn't work, doesn't work, doesn't work.
So you've got to be okay with failure, it sounds
Yes.
like.
Yes.
Okay,
you
resilience.
do.
Resilience is another trait you can develop. Okay.
Yeah. Eventually we got it to the point where it worked like most of the time.
Okay.
And when it didn't work, we were able to like stop it and say, okay, nope, this didn't work.
Okay, gotcha. You got to a good point. All right, so tell us a project that you're proud of that you worked on, or a time that, in your job that you were like, oh yeah, I did it, or I know what I'm doing, or you felt really good.
Yeah, so good example of that would be my most recent project. I built a chatbot for our support desk.
Okay.
Yeah, so I hooked it up to our ticketing system, Zendesk. So pulled it all into a database and got it searchable, and then built a little chatbot so that now if the support desk gets a message saying, hey, this isn't working, they can now chat with an AI to say, hey, this is the problem, and it can say, here's how you solved it before. If it has been solved before. If it's new, then it will probably just spew out whatever.
Okay, might make up something.
Yeah.
So the chat bot is it's internal. It's not client facing where a client is chatting with it, but it's internally the support. Wow, that's really neat. Okay,
Yeah.
I love to hear that. I'm glad it's working for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so same questions to you about a struggle and an accomplishment or what you're proud of, but then I want to come back to AI at some point.
Oh, sure. So honestly, one of the most difficult things I had to do was in the project that I'm working on now. So pretty sure I can talk about this, even though I have security clearance. Hi, Booz. But the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, does anybody know what the word inundation means? Yeah, neither did I. So the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers was developing an application that would effectively estimate the damages that would be caused by inundation or flooding by various storms based on data that exists in the coastal hazard system of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. I didn't know what any of that stuff was. And there's a lot of conceptual things involved in the statistical modeling that you're just required to know to have an intuitive grasp of how to work with this in a programmatic sense. I had no idea what any of this stuff is. And I went on a 2-month goose chase, hunting down they're called SMEs in like government subject matter experts.
Oh, okay.
Cute name, right?
Yes.
Get yourself a little SME, right? But I hunted down like a bunch of SMEs to basically indoctrinate me, right, and to help me figure out how to talk their language. And it was very difficult because I had to start off by saying, I don't know anything, right? And my first instinct is to never ask for help and to, feel like I'm a moron because I don't know stuff. But I figured, hey, at least me falling on the sword will result in the team having more knowledge. And by doing so, that's what ended up happening. And we now have, we're still in the middle of it, but we have priorities to define things clearly from a programmatic perspective as opposed to a scientific perspective. So sorry if that sounds very abstract, but that was probably the most difficult thing I've ever had to do related to software engineering. What was the other one? What am I the most proud of?
Yeah.
Getting up this morning.
Just this morning,
Yeah.
like this morning.
No,
we're doing it.
yesterday it was a wash, but today's okay. No, proudest thing, honestly, sticking with it. I have trouble sticking with things because I'm Gen Z, but I'm just been that personality who needs to do a lot of things at once. So I've just been happy that I've been able to, because when I worked at Tesla, that was not for the record, my career was software engineering, about a year at Tesla, and then back to software engineering. And during the time I was at Tesla, I did not do a whole lot of software when I was there. So I'm proud of myself for getting back in the loop and going back into software engineering, because that was, my coworkers were pretty surprised when I told them where I was going. So
Okay. Your coworker is a Tesla.
at Tesla, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about AI. So you obviously have built a chatbot that's using AI to do stuff. And I will be very honest, I have learned about AI, but I don't quite understand it. But tell us about how it's impacted your work, what you're doing now. Obviously you're using it, but how else is it impacting your work? Are you using it day to day to check the work that you're doing? Is it taking jobs, all that kind of stuff?
So yeah, I primarily use it. So I have a coding assistant AI that I use. It takes care of most of like the basic stuff. Yeah, just like the basic stuff.
Okay.
And also like describing things. So like if I'm in a new place or a new section of the code that I haven't been in before, I can have it describe it to me. So that's been pretty helpful. Haven't had much success using it like in anywhere else.
Okay. Yeah. So it's helpful in
Yeah.
some of your day-to-day tasks,
Some of it, yeah.
but not necessarily elsewhere. Have you heard of it replacing actual human beings in doing the work, or are you hearing that it's something that's used in conjunction?
I have heard of attempts to replace humans with it.
Okay.
And failures.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I mean, it's literally soulless. It's artificial. So the way they work is basically what is the statistically most likely set of words to come after what you just put in, based on this giant, massive statistics and data that it has. So yeah, like every time I've used it, well, not every time, but yeah, most of the time I've used it, there's always like a little subtle mistakes. because yeah, there's no like very little like no like checking to like against truth.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't like reason. It doesn't like do anything like that. Yeah, you look like you're disagree with that a little bit.
I'm feeling some type of way.
Okay. So tell us about your experience with AI and what you're seeing.
Sure. So, full disclosure, what do you use for like coding assistant? Is it Cursor or
Copilot.
Copilot? Okay, I used to use Copilot. I mean, Cursor is just kind of like a souped-up Copilot at this point. But okay, we're getting into the weeds here. Sorry, but my experience with AI, right, is I am a very I don't do this physically, but I'm the type of person who will put sticky notes on my desk or equivalent on my desktop with a billion different priorities, and I basically just need a meat grinder to feed raw text into and then put it into some sort of organizational structure to make sure that I'm staying on track. I find AI is really good for that. Can I mention Voldemort, ChatGPT?
Sure.
We'll call him ChatGPT. He won't be ChatGPT, but
ChatGPT.
sure, ChatGPT. But if you have something that you just need really quick organization, I throw it in there, and then it will give me an agenda or a list of action items, right? So I do find it AI helpful not only in a coding sense, but also in an organizational sense. I use it a lot. For coding, I find it actually to be really great. I know the larger LLMs have started using, I think they're called reasoning models, and it allows them to, you can actually, if you, for example, in Cursor, which is a application that helps you write code using AI, if you give it a prompt to say, do X, if there's a little drop down underneath the prompt and you can drop it down, it'll actually give the inner thoughts of the AI, and it says, sometimes it'll be kind of funny. It'll be like, okay, the user says wants me to do X. That's kind of vague, right? And then it will actually have a couple lines of reasoning and then resolve to a particular course of action, right? So I found it to be pretty good at, as you said, like the basic stuff. I'm not going to have it, create an enterprise app and like deploy it on AWS, right? But in terms of like basic syntax, like say, is this the most effective way to have a for loop in this situation? It's pretty good at that. Like it's not the ultimate fortune teller, but it's very good at doing those basic things. I also use AI for, there's actually this app, I don't know if you can get it yet, it's called Hux, Hux. It is a news app that pulls all of the latest headlines and gives you a daily feed just read to you of what's going on in the world, so you don't have to scroll through anything. So if you're one of those people who like it gets on your phone and then you're kind of addicted to reading, and then first you're on news, now you're on Instagram, and now you're going through the whole rabbit hole, it's a good way to just press play, walk away, put stuff away in your room, and then I've been informed, right? As opposed to wasting a bunch of time.
Okay.
So.
Okay, but go answer the question about, is AI replacing jobs,
Yes.
especially in software development?
They are, and the way that they're replacing jobs is that there is going to be a massive shortage of senior developers in about 5 years. So,
Senior development.
yes, so
Not entry level.
think about it as like a ladder. Everybody has to start somewhere. Usually in other fields, in like any sort of apprenticeship, the person at the bottom of the totem pole is going to take all of the menial, easy, fix this tiny, like in software engineering, fix this bug, fix this thing, make this button look better because it looks horrible, right? Like you get all of these tiny little tasks at the bottom of the totem pole. But ChatGPT is really good at those tiny tasks, right? So just feed those tasks, seniors will just feed those tasks to AI, and what do you know? You've kind of pulled the ladder up one rung, and you don't necessarily need juniors anymore. So I think it's actually, it's particularly hard to get into software development right now because of that, in my opinion. And I think AI has, demanded a lot. The existence of it has just demanded a lot from us, not just from people who know about AI and who are familiar, but stakeholders and people who view AI as this sort of, one-size-fits-all solution, because it's not, right? There's no, as you said, it's soulless, and there's no replacement for somebody actually knowing what they're talking about, right?
Yeah. Okay. Okay, thank you for that. I learned a lot. By the way, this is a lot of life on taps here for me to just learn about different things. So, okay, let's talk about what are some recommendations you have for students who want to pursue software development, and besides don't go into it because apparently there aren't any jobs. But
I didn't say that.
if they are hopeful and they want to go into this, what do you recommend? Where should they learn about coding? Where should they learn about jobs, that kind of stuff, Ben?
I mean, yeah, just start building. Yeah, like Noah said, yeah, just pick up Python and like write a little thing to say fizz and buzz. Yeah, figure out like something, like a task that you do like fairly often, like say like how can I, can you like try and make the computer do that for you? So yeah, just like find a project and do it. Or if you prefer more structured learning, yeah, there's a ton of free courses and learning things out there. I used a free code camp to get started on that. And there's a bunch of others. You mentioned to me earlier, is it Orion?
Excuse me?
Orion was one of them?
Yes, the Odin project.
Odin.
Yeah, the Odin
Yes.
constellation.
Okay, so free
yeah.
code camp. Is that okay? And then is that truly free? That you're getting like a certification that they could then take somewhere and present it to a company and say, look, I know this stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know about this resource, you guys. Okay.
and-
What else?
And yeah, there's also LinkedIn Learning. It's also it's a good place for that. Yeah, there's courses like things to build, and you can have like a little certificate. Yeah, I know this stuff.
Yeah, LinkedIn Learning has thousands of courses and a ton of them on all these different coding languages. And I guess let me get your perspective on it before I share mine on LinkedIn Learning and coding certifications.
Yeah, so LinkedIn Learning, I recommend it as a survey of the landscape of coding. Now, that's very artistic language. What does that mean? Suppose you want to get into software engineering. There are probably very generic LinkedIn Learning courses on data science or web development or front-end development or back-end development, right? All these terms that are thrown around. They will give you a good sense of what the landscape of jobs look like UI, UX designer. They may not teach you skills. Me personally, I would, for getting actual hard skills, first of all, never pay for a course unless you are getting graded and you have an interactive part of it, in my opinion. Never. So much stuff is free on the internet, guys. So I recommend LinkedIn Learning to get an idea of what a particular field of software engineering is about. And then from there, you can delve deeper into it if you wanted to. For courses, first of all, how do I get into it? As he said, build. I know, build anything. It doesn't need to be techie. It doesn't need to be crazy, right? I know, was it Michaela?
Michaela Bailey.
Yeah, Michaela Bailey. She, I think, runs a magazine, and they do like in-house design, and it's very cool. I think they're actually printing their own edition of the Catechism, which is pretty rad. But there's a bunch of software that goes into, well, what does the font look like in this particular edition of this Catechism? What does right? Like, the software is not just the cyber hackers with the terminal open on their computer with the green text running up and down. A lot of it is related to like physical, tangible products, and I think that's where most people will find it really interesting. But there's a lot that goes into a magazine. Design, Figma is an app for, it's called wireframing, or like producing prototypes of designs for either websites or books or whatever, like Figma, if you're into making things look pretty and have a bunch of patience and enjoy doing that. Figma would be part of UI or front-end development, right? And then you can learn all this through LinkedIn Learning and figuring out what a particular area in this discipline looks like. So, but I'm going to reiterate this. Don't pay for anything unless you are actually like either in person and getting taught, or you have regular sessions and are getting guidance from a professional. Any huckster on YouTube who says, buy my $700 course that will teach you Python, don't. Okay, you don't need that.
No.
Python's free. Learn what open source software, open source equals free, okay? Learn that, that's another thing, so.
Okay. And so, did you have something else to add to that? Oh gosh, it just went out of my brain, what I was just thinking. Okay, we'll come back to it. I'm sure I'll remember it. So, totally kind of switching gears, tell us about how your faith plays into your work, if it does at all, if it's able to.
I pray that I wake up every morning.
Oh, jeez. Ben.
Yeah, personally, like some of my actually like biggest breakthroughs, like oh, that's how that works, came during adoration.
Okay.
So there's that, and then I've been, SSI is like a very Catholic company, so Christendom alumnus owner, primarily staffed by Christendom alumni. So yeah, there's a lot of like the whole culture of the company is Catholic and like very supportive of like going to mass on holy days of obligation and like say grace before our company meetings or meals, like company lunches.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is it, I mean,
then-
yeah, your job is not faith-based, but you're in a culture that's very comfortable talking about it. Would that
Yes.
be accurate? Okay.
Yeah, I am. And then actually, so another thing, yeah. So it also like informs like our approach towards problem solving, like with the clients.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not a business analyst. I'm not like involved with that too much. But yeah. So like in the way that like we're trying to like solve their problems, like most like you'll find like the big tech companies, they're like well, they have like very low morals.
Okay.
Honestly.
Yeah.
They will cut corners. They will try and do things like they will try to eliminate people's jobs. Try and
Yeah.
yeah. And so yeah, the approach that we take with our like proposing our solutions to our clients is all like it's always like how can we help you be better?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. And with you being remote, are you able to go to mass regularly, like during the day?
I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not as often as I want to.
Okay. Yeah,
should,
because I know that can change things too. A lot of people who have worked remotely have told us, oh, the company is flexible, or because I'm remote, I can adjust my schedule a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I happen to be at like the perfect triangle where like of like 20 minutes away between 3 different churches.
Oh,
But SSI itself, so when I do come into the office on the rare occasion, it is right across the street from St. John's.
Okay,
So
excellent.
that's,
Yes. That makes it easy for those who are in the office. Yeah. All right. What about you? How does faith play into your work?
Honestly, my work is kind of a lot. And I find myself returning to the rosary when I go to sleep and I'm extremely done with everything. So that's kind of, I'll babble on my beads for a bit, right? And just make sure that whatever mindset I go into the next day is one that's positive as much as possible. I don't know how much more deeper it is than that. I know the company that I do contracting for, Longbeard, they're a Catholic company. I have yet to do any in-person stuff with them, but they're very understanding about like if you wanted to go to mass or stuff like that. I don't do that, but they would be. So I know the CTO, I think him and his wife are about to have a kid. So if you could pray for them that everything goes well with them. His name's Patrick. He's really cool. But it doesn't really go too much deeper than that. It's mostly just to keep me on the straight and narrow.
Sure. At Booz Allen, it's not like.
Sure. With Booz Allen, the culture there is very amicable.
Okay. Well, you're like, I'm going to leave it at that. Okay.
I didn't say that.
Okay. Okay. Oh, goodness. Y'all, my brain is not working today. I thought of something while you were saying that, and then it just left again. Oh, yes, I remembered. Unless you have a smart quip that you're
No,
going to say.
nope, say it, you're gonna forget it.
Noah and I go way back. We've had lots and lots of meetings together, so
Therapy sessions.
kind of like therapy sessions, yes. You've talked a lot about working. I mean, obviously you're doing contract work and then for Booz Allen, and it sounds like you're very tired. Are you both working, like, is it a very 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 job, or is it flexible, or is it like I have to work 10 hours a day in order to show up and get my work done?
Right now, I'm doing 60 hours a week. So
Okay.
typically.
Because of the contract?
Correct.
Okay.
So right now I do 60 hours, but typically I will have, like, it's not always heads down, but it's always what's the next thing, and I need to prioritize this for the team, and I need to make sure that things are clearly defined going forward. So it's not like, oh, I have like an hour to rest, and then the rest of the day is kind of over. It's like, I've never actually really experienced that at Booz or Longbeard. Like, with Longbeard, it's a startup. Startup culture is really like hustle culture. Yeah, everything has to be done yesterday. Government is different. So,
Yes.
yeah, everything will be done in,
Eventually.
when's that fiscal package coming again? Yeah. So, yes, whatever. I don't know if that
So
was
you, so how many hours a week are you working for Longbeard?
20.
Okay, so
Yes.
you are truly just putting in a 40-hour work week for Booz Allen. It's not like
Yes.
they're expecting you to stay logged in until 7 or 8 p.m.
No.
Okay.
There are some days where I have the flexibility. I log to clients because I'm a consultant. So I will log hours to client accounts. So I have the flexibility to log when those hours are, but generally my hours of availability are from 8 a.m. to 4, 5-ish.
5. With a lunch break, like you're eating lunch, you're
Yeah.
taking care of yourself.
Yes.
Okay. See, part of the therapy, I have to ask them.
Yes, exactly. Going to your office at lunchtime, yes.
Yes. All right, tell us about your workday. Is it very standard?
Yeah, it's generally 9 to 5 with a little lunch break in the middle. Yeah, my bosses are like really great though, but like being flexible. It's like if you have an appointment, just go right ahead. If you need to leave a little bit early, go right ahead. If you need to come in a little bit late, so yeah, I mean as long as the work gets done.
Okay.
That's the thing I wanted to add is this discipline is very truly like whatever you put in, you usually get back. So if you are lenient with them when they need you at particular times, they will remember that, right? So, and if you need to go and take an appointment, like he was saying, that's one of the perks of being remote and then also having this sort of asynchronous form of communication, right? So.
Yeah, I will say, because then there's occasionally, so like when we do like big releases, like when we do like a big update to our system, and that's everybody comes together like in the evening, and we're working like from 8 to 12, but that's like
8
8
to 12.
p.m. to 12 p.m. Yeah,
That's so
that's only
cool.
like
We don't do that.
Yeah.
We just like deploy and then hope nothing breaks.
Oh.
Like that's so much cooler, man.
So,
Yeah.
so there are times that you have to work a
Yeah.
little bit more and,
every once in a while. Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about networking in your careers and how has that played a role in getting your jobs? Well, I mean,
Definitely
You've
yours
gotten
much more
one.
than mine.
yes. Well, tell us about getting hired by SSI.
So Christendom Career Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed it.
Oh.
Yeah. I was on the baseball team. We had an away game. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, as I like looked at the roster of companies who were here recruiting, and I saw like, oh, SSI tech company. I want to do that. So I found Greg Bodo's email address, and I sent him an email and said, hey, I missed you guys at the thing yesterday. Here's my resume. Would you consider it? And yeah, I got an interview. Came in. We clicked, talked shop for like an hour, and had a verbal offer by the end of the day.
Very nice. Awesome. Okay. What about you, Noah?
Yeah.
Tell us about networking.
Sure. Personally, I think networking is the most important thing you do in this industry because, especially if you work remotely, you're not going to be in a lot of situations where you're meeting people face to face. Networking events can range from tech expos for a particular like software product or career fairs. I went to a couple career fairs. This is before I was working at Booz Allen and I was still at Tesla. I took my lunch break at Tesla and would go to a career fair in McLean or Tyson's Corner where Booz Allen was at. That's not how I got the job though, but super, super important. The other thing too is that if you are interested in climbing the ladder, indispensable. Yeah, you need to know people who know people. And sometimes you need to know people who know people who know people. And then they will meet you and go, I've been looking for somebody like you for 5 years, right? Like I was literally at Vibrissa in Winchester yesterday, and I met a guy who actually knew Longbeard Creative by name, and their company was looking for another like tiny contract position as well, and I said, oh, great. But yeah, like another thing too is if you're working remotely, go to coffee shops. Other people who work remotely will be at coffee shops. The alumni network is great. Use it.
I don't pay them to say these things.
Yeah, no, it's great. Use it. And if you know somebody who works at a company that you are interested in and who's in the alumni network, ask them if anything's open.
Yeah.
This is a skill you are going to have to cultivate, is that if you're a shy communicator, I was, and you don't want to bug people, okay? The squeaky wheel gets the oil, all right? It is always the case that when you go and bug people and you're known to be that annoying guy who, like you, Joey, weren't you the guy who was like into cryptography and you like brought that up in your interview with, tell everybody.
No.
Yeah, don't tell everybody. But anyway, Joey knew this particular little facet of cryptography. And
Photography. I
yeah,
think you said photography.
Yeah.
I was like, I
no,
did not know Joey knew
what?
photography.
Yeah, no, he's a great photographer. No, but he knew this tiny little thing that just piqued the interest of whoever was interested in him originally. And then from there, boom, he has an internship over at Navy Federal, which is a great company if you'd like stability. So, yes, great skill to have is networking, and I think it's indispensable if you're in this industry, and especially if you want to work your way up the ladder.
Yes, yeah, I will agree. I regret not networking as much earlier in my career. Starting to rectify that now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's never too late to network.
Yeah.
Put that on a t-shirt. I will also say about Booz Allen Hamilton and companies like it, they will often only look at resumes if somebody who currently works there has recommended them. Yeah. So the way Noah got a job is because we emailed, did we both email him, I think?
We busted down his door.
We busted down his door. Dominic Bodo, brother of Greg Bodo?
I think so.
I think brothers. Yeah. And he works at Booz Allen Hamilton. And so I said, hey, I've got somebody who you should look at and you should talk to. And he's applying for jobs.
Doesn't do tech either. He was project management. He never did software or anything. So
even if they're not in the same kind of part of the company that you're looking at, just having that connection and knowing is super helpful. And so then he was able to talk to Noah and also put like his stamp of approval and say, I recommend him to be considered. And then he got looked at. The same thing happened. Dominic's been really great. Got Gail Peterson a job at Booz Allen Hamilton as well a couple years ago. So really and truly that networking, Mr. McFadden and I don't just put together the alumni mentor booklet just for funsies. And Annie too, gosh, she redesigned the whole thing. She has done such a great job with it. It is truly, those people will help you get jobs in the future. They want to help you because they've been in your position. They've sat here and listened to other people talk. So they want to give back and help out. So networking is important. All right. Before we turn it over, do you all have to ask a few questions? Tell us just why are Christendom students well prepared to work in software, in any kind of tech industry stuff? We talked a little bit before, but tell us what you got from Christendom and why you think these students are well prepared for it. Either one. Yeah, you want to go?
This is going to sound really abstract, probably because it is.
It's a theme.
Sure, yeah, that's me. If you are into deep thinking and abstract topics like philosophy, theology, that really force you to define terms, There is, in the study of categorization, there's this thing called taxonomy. It forces you to tease out individual parts of a topic and relate to them in a coherent manner. That's software engineering, right? And like an abstract form of it is just being able to say, this thing's working here, this thing's at play here, this thing kind of has this. It's like basically learning how to untangle a big set of ideas, right? If you have the ability to think critically and to hold multiple ideas, sometimes opposing in your head, you'll like this. Like if you're a big fan of like tinkering as well, if you have that along with the drive to tease stuff out, it's a good career.
Ben, what do you have to
I
add?
don't really have anything to add to that. That was
Okay. Any
better.
last tips for success in software development or tech industries?
Coffee.
Coffee? Okay, it's the fuel that keeps you going. Yes.
Yeah.
Any last things? I'm putting you on the spot, I know, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just to reiterate, network and build.
Network and build.
Build. Yes,
And-
network and build.
Yes. Okay. All right. Maria's got a microphone, so if you've got a question for our guests, please raise your hand and we will get Maria over to you. Don't be shy. All the way up front. And then we've got one over here too. So, hello, Mr. Delmar. Lovely to see you here. Wonderful.
Did I
Nice.
I responded to your LinkedIn message, right?
You did. Thank you.
Oh, thank goodness.
You mentioned, the raising that lowest rung on the ladder. It makes something like Free Code Camp or something feel like, why am I even going to invest the time? Would you say that is actually giving, for people who start at that very bottom rung and go say, I'm going to go learn this, that actually gives them that leg up? Or would you say it's like they should spend more time learning prompt engineering, right?
Since you brought up the ladder analogy, I'll start. But I think when you get into different types of programming, that's not just something like Python or JavaScript, where you start, say, like Java or .NET or C#, where you're dealing with more abstract concepts like inheritance or encapsulation or all of these big words that nobody knows what they mean. If you understand those conceptually, you're going to understand what the AI farts out. Okay? If you don't, this is very much a faith-based practice, because then you're just trusting ChatGPT to give you the answer, no questions asked. So yes, I agree. If you start from the bottom up, you will gain really important knowledge and context because you're starting from first principles as opposed to, for lack of a better term, in media res, right? Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's right there.
Yeah, just as a follow-up to that, with the prediction or the obvious destination here of there being a lack of senior engineers and senior developers because so many people are not doing this kind of first steps, groundwork, and building up to that. How do you see those people being cultivated or developed down the road? Like, are you just an extinct species?
If you have commentary, please interrupt me.
Yeah, no, I don't think that we're going to be an extinct species. I think that, this is just my personal opinion, is I do think that the ladder will come back down, because once you have the seniors go away, you suddenly have nobody who knows what the AI has been spitting out, and so. Yeah, so they will come back down. So you guys know who can figure out what the AI is spitting out.
The other thing about AI code is that it can be extremely difficult to debug because it assumes when it's plopped down in your code base that it's a just world, right? So every decision that was previously made, for the most part, is factored into, it's called its context window. which is effectively its yes, it's memory. And sometimes it will look at bad code that repeated or had like a repetitive or that was iterated on, right? And then it will use that for inspiration to then make an implementation somewhere else. I'm actually going through that on one of my projects right now, and I'm like, do I refactor it? And the answer is yes. And in order to refactor something means to effectively rewrite code from the ground up to do the same thing in a better way, takes that lower rung of knowledge.
Great questions, Mr. Delmar. And if you all don't know who this gentleman is, he works on the second floor of Chaley for the advancement department. So say hi to him if you see him. All right, Maria, over here we had a question. Come on down.
So I kind of had two different questions. One was like, what are like benefits that you get? Like, do you get like the same like health benefits and like vacation benefits? What are those like? And then the other question was more specific on the AI programming. Like, how do you program AI to like think for itself, or do you just like feed it a lot of data so it recognizes it, but it only knows so much as you feed it?
Okay, so benefits. Let's start there.
So yeah, benefits, yeah, I mean, I don't know what you get, but yeah, same as almost everything. Yeah, I have health insurance. I've got 3 weeks of PTO.
Paid time off.
Yeah, yeah, health and dental, and then yeah, just
401k.
I have that too.
Yeah, and life insurance maybe.
Yep.
SSI is
Yeah.
really great.
It is really
SSI
good.
has really good benefits, for sure. Okay,
Yeah.
what about you at Booz Allen? And then Longbeard, like talk about startup.
Sure. So Longbeard gives me satisfaction. It's my primary benefit, along with money, but we don't talk about money here.
Yeah.
Booz Allen, they give me a very nice benefits package. We'll put it that way.
And what you have to understand about a lot of these jobs is that like Longbeard as a startup is not going to be able to
Absolutely.
offer any kind of benefits, but Booz Allen has been around for a long time. Same with SSI. They're more established and can offer that.
Yes, you will find that when you are starting off as a junior in the industry, your main, based on my experience, and I'm just kind of projecting here, you're going to get PTO. That's kind of like bare bones benefit. Like that's something that you're going to want to have. Contract positions, 1099 positions won't really give you that. If you call out sick, you're a contractor, right? But when you start at the bottom, you're going to start with PTO. Health insurance is nice. Very rarely will you get that when you're on the junior level, which is unfortunate, but we live in the United States. So,
Okay, so talk to her second question about training AI.
can I ask for a follow-up? Sure. So, repeat the question one more time.
So for the AI, can you teach it how to think for itself, and like how would that work? Or does it only know so much as you feed it? Like you just feed it data and then it recognizes the patterns? Or like how does it learn basically?
Yeah, it's closer to the latter. Like you feed it the data and it recognizes the patterns, and it gets more likely to give you what you want. The more data you give to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, for example, Longbeard, we train our AI. I think I can talk about this. We train our AI on church documents. So, if you go to magisterium.com and you type in what's Summa Contra Gentiles about, it will give you a overview based on a copy that we have of Summa Contra Gentiles, right? And the way AI models or LLMs are set up now is that you can define the knowledge base. I don't know and what I mean by that is I don't know to what degree if you use something like Google Gemini or whatever ChatGPT's engine, OpenAI's models, GPT, right?
Yeah.
Duh. But I don't know to what degree the AI itself is trained on languages, and massive data sets that have scraped the internet for basically all the information that's out there. You can take that underlying engine, you could call it like a sense-making apparatus or something, and then throw your own content on it and prompt it in the way you design your software to say, this is your job. You say it threateningly like that. You say, this is your job now, right? You are a chatbot that only tells me about Stanley Cups, right? Like you're gonna tell me all the colors of Stanley Cups forever until the world ends, right?
I thought you meant the NHL Stanley Cup, and I was like, wait, there are not multiple colors of that.
But that's essentially how we as the consumer, because we're technically consumers of OpenAI, Google, Amazon, their AI products, that's how we interact with it. So they have an underlying engine that I don't really know fundamentally how it works. If I did, I'd be a billionaire. So, but yeah.
Okay, anything to add?
Yeah, well, kind of do know how it works. Yeah, given so they take the entirety of written human history, basically, and say, these words appear together. How often do these words appear together? And so there's a huge set of those, and it uses that a lot of math
Okay.
to then, to calculate, given what you give me, what could come next. And that is influenced, so if you put if you put a copy of the Summa Contra Gentiles right at the front of that, it will influence it more heavily. And so you'll get something that is closer to Summa Contra Gentiles than not.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
One fun little product that Longbeard is developing right now is Saint Chat, which takes all of the works of the saints and effectively revives the saint as a chatbot. And you can have them debate each other.
Fun.
Fascinating. Please let us know
Take-
when it's available,
yeah,
and
take-
I will send it.
There's
to
a article in the Catholic Herald, I think, about it. Yeah.
Okay. Other questions from the audience? We've got plenty of time, and you can chat with them a little bit afterwards if you'd like. But other questions that you all wanted to ask over here?
So, are you at all worried that artificial intelligence is gonna exterminate everyone? I just had to ask because you guys seem like you'd be in on it, you know?
So exterminate what? You didn't finish that kind of statement.
Like
you think that's-
exterminating everything, everything
Yeah.
we know, like me and everybody else.
You thinking like Skynet kind of thing? No.
Really?
I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just a troglodyte, but honestly, I think it bodes pretty poorly. I'm thinking of, if it's are we gonna have Terminator? Well, are we gonna have Tesla bots be hacked in the future and then they go off and do naughty things? I don't know. But my worry is if you can have computer worms which are agentic, right? And they're able to effectively exploit any common vulnerabilities that are found either in servers or in application data or in application code, excuse me. If that process that Black Hat hackers would use is autonomized, that's what I'd be worried about. So, for example, Log4j in the not the Java virtual machine, but the Java had a vulnerability that effectively caused all of users of Minecraft to have their IPs and personal information leaked. Imagine if you could sick an AI on either the client, the actual program that connects to the server that runs Minecraft, or some guy's Minecraft server studies it enough to find vulnerabilities and then exploits those. That's what I'm worried about. I'm not necessarily worried about the Tesla bots breakdancing in a way that they shouldn't in the middle of LA. I don't really care about that. That's actually cool. So.
All right, other questions over here?
Did not think about that.
Scary.
So how would you, as someone who's interested in like learning coding languages, how would you recommend going about learning a new coding language?
Well,
Assuming you know
pick one.
nothing, like you're truly starting. Okay, so
What a
adding kind of
combo.
adding
I
on
like
to
it.
that. Okay.
Do you want to go?
Okay. I mean, if you're just learning for the sake of learning, I can just pick one. There's a whole bunch of them that are out there that are different suited. There's different suited for different tasks. So, and like all have different approaches to solving problems. So, I mean, yeah, Python and Java are actually have like two different ways of solving problems. So like Java has like classes, whereas Python is more sequential and functional. But yeah, if you like don't really know where to go, I mean, yeah, just like pick one.
Is this where he would go to free code camp? Free code camp? Code free
Yeah,
camp?
yeah, Free Code Camp or
Free code camp.
yeah, any of the other free stuff out there.
Okay.
JavaScript is another big language. I use that a lot in my work.
Okay.
It's pretty easy to learn.
I'm going to assume you know Java, but you obviously know that there's a different paradigm for programming in Java than there is for Python. As he said, pick one. You can basically build anything you can. You can actually build more stuff with Java, to be honest, because it's more mature language, arguably. But get good at the fundamentals. Learn the taxonomy of what a code language is. There's going to be variables. There's going to be control flow, like for loops, or if statements. Learn that. When it comes time to build a web server, you'll know enough to kind of just use Spring Boot, like with Java, right? Again, pick one, learn the basics. More complex will probably be better because when you go to JavaScript, you're going to be like, I'm playing with blocks, like I'm playing with kitty toys, right? So, or Python, right? You'll probably think the same thing. So,
Okay. Yes, question up here. This will probably be our last one, and then you guys can come up and chat afterwards.
I like the freedom of JavaScript.
What level of math do you have to know to learn Python?
can you add?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's a yes. In government speak, that's a yes. If you can add, you can learn how to program Python. It's not that difficult. The mathematics behind in my experience, you can disagree with me if you want, but in my experience, the mathematics in programming languages is kind of like when you have like loops that are iterating over stuff, you're like, how many times is this actually happening? Like you run in those kind of problems, but it's just counting. Be a math major, take combinatorics with Doug Daly. He will love you forever. He's a great guy. But you do not need like advanced math. You don't need that at all. Like calculus, there are existing, like they're called packages, which are like bundles of code that somebody else made that does something way better than you could ever do it because Jimmy in the basement did this 15 years ago and that's all he had to do, right? And he still updates the package every month, right? You don't need like that sort of knowledge to start. You just need a goal-oriented mindset.
Nice. Anything to add?
Yeah, I barely use math in my day-to-day. There was one project where I had to do some like statistical analysis and like vector math, but that was just one project. I was trying to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another thing too is a lot of the documentation for these packages or like bundles of code that allow you to do things that like mathy, they have pretty good like documentation on how to use them. And sometimes they'll just refer you to say, hey, learn like this much of like linear algebra. Or like learn this much, and then you'll be able to come back and kind of extend that knowledge practically. So coding too gives a better sense of, because it's effectively working with your hands with numbers, right? So it gives you a better intuitive sense of how things work, as opposed to just doing arithmetic, right? Because when you do these big complex like math assignments, it's like, when am I ever going to use that, right? But if you program it, and then you know how it works, you can reuse it. Like you're not going to be waking up at 6 a.m. and programming like an algorithm to multiply n by n matrices. Like you're just not going to do that. That's for losers. I say that as a loser, right? Who is a math major. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you all for the questions. Like I said, they're going to hang out for a little bit to chat if you wanted to talk to them individually. Thank you for coming, and hopefully it's not raining outside anymore. The next event is October 8th, and we have trades business owners coming, and then in November we will have some event planners here. So feel free to come back because you'll learn stuff from them as well, even if that's not an industry you're interested in. Please give our guests a round of applause.